1402 on the 17th of October 2023, and I'm going to continue uploading with regard to the obstacles, the societal obstacles of adults in this situation that have been causing me offence since 2005. It's hate crime. I don't think it's much of a laughing matter. I'm actually growing highly concerned for individuals that find this situation amusing. They have caused awful offence against the constitution, the democracy of the country, and as I've said, they have taken credit where they owe debts not just of gratitude or respect or the basic human qualities and characteristics of adults that know how relations are conducted respectfully and considerately and with all due consideration for any circumstances surrounding wrongdoing. So usually, like when there are developments of procedures that are initiated to respect the factors that are needed to have a successful outcome of mature, responsible developments. Usually when those factors are put in place and set as the basis for human conduct to be successful, then that's expected to be actually conducted, not actually just put there on paper and then hope for the best and see if everyone will go along and follow protocol. So people are finding it really amusing, offending my good name, character and reputation and the contributions I've been making to society worldwide. I'm astonished that there are mothers supporting any offence against the role of any woman that is in the situation that I'm in. It's very serious that unlawful actions would be conducted against a professional, and especially without actually any cause or any reasoning. It just defies logic. So those that are offending in the capacity of fraud regarding false reporting and that are offending people's competency and capabilities, it's really an insult to intelligence, and it's really cause for wonder how people would think it's intelligent to offend people's good names when we all hold our name in esteem and we all respect people's identity. That's what mature people with common decency, common respect, values, etiquette, courtesy. These are the common things that people have in place. But this is astonishing what's going on. It's obstacle, and people think it's smart. Unfortunately, it doesn't show progress, it doesn't show respect. And unfortunately, when there's disrespect, there's damage. And when there's damage, there's a problem. So there have been problems and the problems haven't been fixed. So when people aren't able to fix their problems, then I'm concerned for people's perception. So it's not smart stealing from me. As we've seen since 2005, these people that have been really obstinate and decided to be of obstruction are really putting wealth at huge risk again. And I'm very surprised that there would be any authorities that would continue causing me these circumstances when I've contributed to this country so generously, and when there has been so much disrespect to my portfolio. So I'm really concerned for what people are taking ownership that they don't have ownership of, and I am concerned for those people that have upright, dignified relations, transactions, conduct as one of their objectives and goals in their own purpose, that they would associate themselves with anyone that does anything from the required prerequisites that are expected, obligatory, and that are not easy deviating from. The arts, as I've said on umpteenth occasions throughout this documentary, have been damaged. I've experienced huge exploitation and people putting their name to what actually hasn't authentically, originally or ethically originated from them. As I've said, also I can stand by this, that there have been people causing casualties to their own lives with their offences against my birthrights, my name, my titles, etc. They have been insisting on being of imposter syndrome and hate crime, and I'm really concerned for any professionals that are offending faith and family and that are offending the fellowship worldwide. So it's a sad sign of the times. I am amused, but I'm very highly concerned for people that think it's safe to continue causing problems for me when they're living off so much that has come from me. As I said, I don't support corruption or fraud or theft from other people, and I certainly don't condone anyone being of values of the church and contradicting or acting contrary to the values that they espouse or esteem themselves in. So it's really serious that these people are offending education, intelligence, and just human dignity, you know what I mean? So now they've jeopardised the role of the Declaration of Human Rights, and I'm so disappointed. I've been a humanitarian for so long, and I have always respected the role of the authorities and the Constitution in this democracy, and it's just so typical of people with hate crime issues and debt evasion. Of course, nobody likes paying their debts, but they have a huge issue of not just monetary debt, but the debt of gratitude in certain respects for the recovery that has come from my advocacy and my humanitarianism and my professional portfolio with 3 state departments, unpaid as of yet. So monetisation and financial exploitation for all that's happened is quite insulting to human relations, and we've already seen the consequence of all of that already since the unlawful care orders of people coming between my child and I, weakening what they think are the bonds of my family, and just niggling away at the family unit and walking onto property where they don't actually have any permission, welcoming, invitation or authorization. So it's astonishing what's going on, that there will be such a regression, and that people would sit at the table, discuss anything that they don't have ownership of, that being legislation and social reform that I initiated. I'm really surprised that people would risk their credibility and their kudos to discuss matters that they haven't actually received authorization from me to discuss. My personal matters are not for other people's negotiating ploys. There have been obstacles and obstructions, and people using my portfolio to gain and to benefit without respect is just, it's just awfully serious. So those people that thinks it's smart with the old Irish begrudgery, I hope they understand what the implications have been regarding Brexit, the movement of travel north and south of the border, the role of the authorities, unlawful care orders. The whole situation is just abominable, and anyone risking the life of an innocent child, as my child has been risked, I hope they understand what concerns I have for them. You know, innocent life is precious. So those that are impeding or hindering progress or development, that are obstructing human behaviour progressing onto a level of evolutionary status, those that are bringing us backwards with bad behaviour, the old begrudgery again, it doesn't make sense. So now, unfortunately, all that I have worked for and achieved is being offended by people preaching from the pulpit and offending the church with bad behaviour that is contra the expectations of the Catholic faith. And it's a sad sign of the times that the Roman Catholic Church is being offended. It's a sad sign of the times that any faith would be offended. Everyone's entitled to their own personal faith, their own personal opinion, expression, etc. And it's really, really serious when people intrude to the level that I've experienced intrusion. At every residence I've held, there have been intruders stalking, stealing and slandering, and they've decimated and destructed with a path that has just shown awful wrongdoings. So as I've always said, if they can't correct their wrongdoings, they're not equipped for proper professional expectations, objectives and goals. And that's a sad sign of the times. We've all been educated, we're all equipped, we're all qualified in our own niche and field and expertise. But when people choose to disrespect the ethics, the morals, the values, the codes, then it's just, you know, you just don't have any expectations then of what success can be when there's constant regression. So those that have heard from me and that have a duty to fulfill the basic function, if it's not Royal Protocol, the basic function at least would be quite an astonishing step forward. If there could be some kind of sensible, intelligent behaviour, that might be a little bit of a progressive development. But those that are taking credit monetarily or financially, living off stolen wealth from a mother, that's just inexcusable. It dirties the whole situation. So obviously there hasn't been any learning experience, and unfortunately I can't support any crimes against any legislation or social reform that I have initiated personally. And that's not to be offensive to anyone, but I take ownership of what I've developed on my own, and that's 2 decades of research. So those people suffering from identity issues that are confusing themselves with my portfolio are a concern for me, and I have a concern then now for others as well, because people's lives have been put at risk, and it's insulting to the arts, the heritage, the culture, the education, and to progress, evolution, development. So those that I have contacted, the World Health Organization, the European Court of Human Rights, the United Nations, any of the organisations that are upholding the democratic values of modern day society that have heard from me, I have concerns for your roles being obstructed by people that haven't had the decency or the common sense to develop society successfully without having to be of the regressive old begrudgery that we in Ireland are only too well familiar with. So those taking credit for what I have achieved, I hope they are aware of the sinister nature of any crimes against my names and titles, etc., and my positions. So I'm concerned if they find this amusing. It's quite dangerous, Queen Anaspo culprit. It's disruptive to people's safety, and anyone putting safety at risk, I have concerns, because we've had the developments from Brexit and we've had the developments from COVID, and people disrupting people's homes is just making people's lives unsafe. It's sad. So this is for the interest of the World Health Organization, the European Court of Human Rights, and the United Nations. I'm still awaiting, after 5 or 6 years of obstinate obstructions of individuals with no entitlement to my identity or without any entitlement to my professional contributions, that I'm still awaiting to be credited properly. Legislation has come about as a consequence of me. People, thinking they're going to play a poverty game where they owe such a debt, are making dirty cash circulated in a situation where there's already an outcome that hasn't been successful. So it's a sad sign of the times. Those with dignity and that are enjoying the developments that I've brought about, social reform, that are being subject to creative intellectual property fraud, all of these problems that these people are making, they have already cost us such a consequence already, but there has been good come from it, and I'd hate to see people damage that. So those that have been benefiting and that are enjoying the fruits of my labour, I hope they're aware of the defamation of my good name for the past 20 years and the debts that I'm owed. It's scandalous that this has to be up in a documentary, but as an anthropologist, I'm fully aware of the significance of all of this, and anyone taking exception to the word blacklist, people of hate crime, blacklisting people and insulting people's intelligence and insulting people's human right to live free and content and successfully. People doing that in this county for the past 20 years and insulting the arts. I have such concerns for this situation. It's so serious. So those with respect and dignity, I would expect that the developments that have come about won't be put at risk by people that aren't equipped for proper, mature, responsible behaviour. And those that are of mental health fraud, as I describe it, people frauding and false reporting and defaming people's names, competencies, capabilities, those people might channel their energies a little bit better in professional development or upskilling, or maybe a few sessions with professional to address their shortcomings and their mental discrepancies of how they perceive the situation. Royal protocol is royal protocol, and these people that are causing crime and offending and causing awful repercussions, they might learn to be a bit more intelligent and smart. It's serious offence. So the World Health Organization, I'm sure you don't offend or support offences against the Hippocratic Oath. It's pretty old, it's pretty important, and we all are entitled to our health and well-being being respected. But certainly in the circumstances where there's been reform around COVID-19 come from me, that the development be respected with the proper procedure without the implication of the usual troublemakers causing the same old troubles on this island. It's a sad sign of the times that the democracy is not being respected. But look, this is what's happening. It's County Kerry, it's the southwest of Ireland. It's a sad sign of the times.